Alright, welcome back to the channel, y'all. So, YNW Melly. This video today is about YNW Melly. Not only is it about YNW Melly, but this video will give you the ins and outs and a complete rundown of everything from the day YNW Melly went into custody and was arrested until where we are at today and where we will be concerning this case come 2025. We're talking about his new date to be tried again for double murder. As you already know, the state of Florida is seeking the death penalty against rapper YNW Melly, and as you already may have known, the first judge that was on this trial left the trial. The judge retired. There's a lot of talk in these streets that the judge kind of started to lean towards being biased towards YNW Melly. The judge was up in age. The judge decided, instead of being mixed up in all this BS and compromising my integrity, I'm just going to go ahead and call it a day and retire. I'm at the age to retire anyways. So the case was given a new judge, and the new judge came in and set a new trial date for YNW Melly. YNW Melly now has a trial date of September 10th of 2025. But with that said, September 10th of 2025 is quite a ways away. YNW Melly has been in custody since 2019, and by the time his trial goes to trial again, he will have been in custody like 6 years, right? But let's get into this. So, shout out to Pitchfork. It says in February of 2019, Florida hip-hop artist YNW Melly was arrested, and he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The police said that he and another rapper, who is YNW Bortland, had killed 2 of their friends and had staged the crime scene to look like a drive-by shooting. In June of 2023, YNW Melly went on trial in Florida, pleading his innocence on all the charges. The judge declared a mistrial, but the rapper is expected to be retried again. I just told you what his new retrial date is, and that is September 10th of 2025. Melly will be facing the death penalty if he is found guilty of first-degree murder. He could see himself on Florida's death row. The gravely serious criminal case came as Melly, who was born Jamel Demons, was in the midst of a upward career trajectory. He was blowing up. A month before his arrest, the back then 19-year-old from the small South Florida community of Gifford had just released We All Shine, a mixtape featuring Kanye West, and his biggest hit, the chilling 2017 single Murder on My Mind, had just gone gold. By January of 2022, it had been certified 6 times multi-platinum. A lot of people are wondering, where is all this money coming from to defend YNW Melly? Because, you know, these lawyers, they don't come cheap. And definitely, they're not doing his case pro bono. Did y'all know that Murder on My Mind went 6 times platinum by 2022? Right now we're in 2024, and as I am doing this video, today is September 15th, 2024, and YNW Melly might have more than 6 times platinum now with this Murder on My Mind. Now, here's a brief rundown of how YNW Melly went from sharing freestyles on SoundCloud to working with Kanye West and Young Thug to going to trial for murder of his friends. Damn. So it all started May 1st of 1999. Yep, we're talking about the birth. Jamel Maurice Demons is born. His mother was only 14 years old when she got pregnant with him. She recalls in an official YNW Melly documentary that was posted online in December of 2018, she was in the 9th grade when she gave birth. Jamel Demons had an early love of music. In interviews, as well as in documentaries, he described a childhood fascination with Chris Brown and Michael Jackson. He also recounts an all too precocious interest in guns, saying that he found a revolver under his uncle's couch in the 4th grade, and he took it everywhere, including to school. Now, October 19th of 2015 is when things got really real. Melly had a run-in with the law that would become a recurring part of his media coverage. Now, according to a local Florida newspaper, the back then 16-year-old YNW Melly, he was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of discharging a firearm in public. He allegedly fired a gun towards 3 other students near their high school. It was after this incident that Melly has said when he was locked up that he got the inspiration to write Murder on My Mind. Quote unquote, he said, I woke up and I had that chorus. March 4th of 2017, Murder on My Mind, a piano-based hip-hop murder ballad that's striking in its most diaristic intimacy. It's like he had done it, is uploaded to SoundCloud. His body dropped down to the floor and he had teardrops in his eyes. He grabbed me by my hands and said he was afraid to die. Melly was singing. He was already posting rough lyrics on SoundCloud under his birth name, Jamel Demons, when he was around 15 years old. By 2016, he had started using his current rap name, which is YNW Melly. The YNW crew, short for Young Nigga World, started forming. He has said unless he's on TV or someplace where he can't cuss, then it's Young New Wave. But if it's somewhere where he can cuss, it's Young Nigga World. This includes his longtime friend Anthony Williams, which is YNW Sack Chaser, Christopher Thomas Jr., which is YNW Juvie, and Cortland Henry, which is YNW Bortland. Now, May 1st of 2017, Melly troubles with the court system continues. The details aren't clear, but on April 15th of 2017, he had posted on Facebook that he was on home detention. And on May 1st, his 18th birthday, he wrote, I apologize to all my fans. I'll be locked up in level 6 program for 6 months. I was sentenced on my 18th birthday, May 1st of 2017, due to negative music. Just know I did it for y'all. I'll be back shortly, he added on June 23rd. I'm turning myself in today. I guess it was a violation of his probation to write a song like Murder on My Mind and put out something about killing. I don't see how, but that's what he made his fans think it was. Maybe it was that, but I don't have any way of telling you that that's exactly what it was. He said it was because he put out negative music. Now, in an interview shortly before Melly's 2019 arrest, he claimed to Billboard that prosecutors had used Murder on My Mind against him. Basically, I was on probation in 2017, he said. I'm off that now. I put out Murder on My Mind. It was out for about 7 months, but I was in and out of jail at that point. I probably went to jail at least 6 or 7 times then. It was just for little shit too. December 25th, 2017 rolls around and Melly's hip-hop career goes on despite his legal issues. He's getting it. He's blowing up. He signs with a manager. And on Christmas Day of 2017, he released the Collect Call EP with guests including Kodak Black's brother, Kodak's older brother John Wick, and Northern California cloud rapper Lil B. The record was available a week early on Spotify. By January 7th of 2018, Murder on My Mind had been streamed more than 1 million times on YouTube. February 25th, 2018 rolls around. Melly gets out of jail again. He soon moves to Miami, and according to the documentary and interviews, in the meantime, Melly performs a string of sold-out shows, and a new video is made called Melly the Menace. That premieres on World Star Hip Hop. Another of his most streamed songs, Virtual Blue Balenciagas. That one debuted through World Star in April. June 30th of 2018, Melly returns to jail again. Police records shows that he was arrested in Lee County, Florida on June 30th of 2018 for one count of possession of a weapon by a convicted felon and another count of possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. Fellow rapper Cortland Henry, aka YNW Bortland, was also arrested with him too. According to court records, the state attorney office concluded that there was insufficient evidence to prove the weapons charge beyond a reasonable doubt, so they downgraded the drugs charges to a misdemeanor. So this ain't the first time that his sidekick was arrested with him. I'm talking about YNW Bortland. YNW Bortland looked like either a crash dummy or a ride or die friend. On August 3rd of 2018, Melly releases his first album-length mixtape, I Am You. It includes Murder on My Mind and a song from the opposite perspective, Mind on My Murder. Plus, another song called Virtual Blue Balenciagas, Maternal Ode, a song to his mama called Mama Cry, and Chris Brown interpolating Slang That Iron. Later that month, he tells Billboard that he's working on a whole project of songs with Detroit rapper T Grizzly. In November of 2018, they'd share some collaborative tracks, Freddy Krueger and Lost and Found, and they would go on to make another one called Game, and another one called Young Grizzly World, and another one called Careless. October 26th of 2018, YNW Juvie, aka 19-year-old Christopher Thomas Jr., and YNW Sack Chaser, aka 21-year-old Anthony Williams, are shot and killed. Miramar police says that the two were last seen about 3:20 a.m. Eastern in Fort Lauderdale, arriving at the Memorial Hospital in Miramar around 4:35 a.m. with multiple gunshot wounds. The police spokesperson said that they were dead already before they got to the facility. Melly mourned on his social media accounts. "They took my brothers from me over jealousy," he wrote. Melly added that the killers want to see him break down and stop doing his music or go to jail or in a box, dead, funeral, coffin. December 4th of 2018, Melly's official documentary arrives on YouTube. YNW Juvie, YNW Sack Chaser are featured prominently. At the end of the 21-minute video, text reads, 4 days after the completion of this film, YNW Melly and his friends were the targets of a drive-by shooting in Miami, Florida. YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser were killed. The documentary also reveals Melly and his mother are moving from Florida to live in Atlanta. The same day, Melly shares a photo of himself with Kanye West on Instagram. Rumors follow that the two are recording in Miami together for what might be Kanye West's long-delayed album called Yandy. The album never materialized, and Kanye West instead released Jesus is King in 2019. The record did not feature YNW Melly on it. Just to let y'all know, the talk of the town around these streets is that YNW Melly sacrificed his two friends for fame because, you have multiple people die from your crew. It generates a whole lot of interest from others and then sympathy as well. Also, a lot of people think that you have to shed some blood or sacrifice somebody in order to make it in. You don't just get to a Kanye West and get a feature out of nowhere. Anyways, December 12th of 2019 rolls around. A genius video of Melly breaking down the lyrics to Murder on My Mind is posted on YouTube. I'm a pussy murderer, he says around the 440 mark. I murdered the vagina, and I murdered the beat. I am not no human murderer. As he pauses on the phrase human murderer, Melly's eye catches the camera in a moment that will later go viral because everybody who saw it pretty much said, damn, he looked like he actually did it. January 3rd, 2019, Melly is arrested again in Lee County in connection with his June 2018 charges. In his mugshot, he can be seen smiling because he's used to this. According to court records viewed, Melly pleaded no contest to misdemeanor for possession of paraphernalia and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. He is ruled guilty and he is sentenced to jail time with credit for time served. January 18th, 2019 rolls around. Melly releases We All Shine, his second mixtape. West trades vocals with Melly on a single that's called Mixed Personalities, and he also appears in the video. Many people were saying Melly had made it because Kanye West had given a full feature and approval. January 25th of 2019, Melly is released from Lee County Jail, the police records show. February 5th of 2019, in a Billboard interview, Melly says of YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie, quote unquote, they were my brothers. They were my day one brothers. Asked if he was targeted in the incident as well, he says, nah, I can't really speak on that. He also says he has recorded like 6 songs with Young Thug, and he was working on a project with Juice WRLD. As you know, today, Young Thug is sitting and has been sitting in lockup for quite some time, and Young Thug is facing some very serious charges under the RICO Act in Atlanta, and Juice WRLD has long passed away. YNW Melly's project with T Grizzly is finished too, he said. My year's finna be crazy. He has all these high-profile features, new music coming to the scene, just finished up a project with Kanye West. There's a buzz out there. A lot of people are wondering, who's this new dude? And why did Kanye West choose to work with him? February 12th, 2019. YNW Melly talks Kanye West with Power 106. He heard my music in Paris, Melly said. He flew me out to LA, and then I just showed him some of my music. Melly says that Kanye West is naming a Yeezy sneaker after him too. They're gonna call those the Mellys. February 13th of 2019 rolls around and Melly is arrested on murder charges. The police allege now that he shot and killed Williams and Thomas, while Cortland Henry, aka YNW Bortland, tried to stage the deaths as a drive-by shooting. Now, under Florida law, Melly could face life imprisonment or the death penalty. They've made it very clear that they are going for the death penalty. He, however, maintains his innocence, and he jumped on social media, Instagram at the time, professing his innocence. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being told, but no worries, God is with me, is what he posted, and then he deleted it February 13th of 2019. February 25th of 2019. In public court documents, investigators reveal more details about the charges that they were about to lay against YNW Melly. Police officers cite phone records which allegedly confirms that Melly was at the scene of the crime. They also reference autopsy reports and crime scene details which allegedly confirms that Melly shot YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie from inside of the car. There was no drive-by from the outside of the car. Police argue that the drive-by bullet holes on the outside of the car were staged in an effort to misdirect law enforcement investigations. March 6th of 2019, Melly pleads not guilty. April 18th of 2019, Florida prosecutors filed paperwork signaling their intent to seek the death penalty against YNW Melly. He is notified. August 6th of 2019, YNW Melly's 12-year-old brother, YNW B Slime, releases a single called Free Melly, YNW Melly tribute. The brother would go on to collaborate on Dying For You, One Step, and Really B Slime. November 22nd of 2019, YNW Melly releases a new album called Melly vs. Melvin, which eventually goes gold. It spent 31 weeks on the Billboard 200 albums chart, beginning with its debut at number 8 on December 7th of 2019. April 2nd of 2020, a since-deleted Instagram post announces that Melly had tested positive for COVID-19 while he was in a Florida jail. The rapper's team was seeking restricted release, which a judge later denied. The pandemic was going on, we were on lockdown, and they were trying to use that to get him released. You know, they were releasing a lot of people in that time too. If you were somebody who could prove through medical record history that you had severe asthma or any pre-existing condition, the jails would not take a risk of holding you there. If you were there on misdemeanor, small charges, they were releasing a lot of people because COVID was killing people, especially those who already had a compromised immune system or some cardiovascular issue pre-existing. So, for Melly, it didn't work. The judge denied his release and he stayed. May 23rd of 2020, YNW Bortland, who was arrested for double murder along with Melly in 2019, is granted house arrest. August 20th of 2020, YNW Bortland releases a new single and a music video called Been Through. It's his first piece of new music after being granted his restricted release, just his second ever solo track, following 2018's Came From. The single and visual refer to his incarceration, and Bortland also raps Free Lil Melly. October 23rd, 2020, the estates of the rappers that Melly and Bortland were arrested for murdering Anthony YNW Sackchaser and Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr., their estate filed a wrongful debt suit against them. According to the complaint that was filed on behalf of YNW Sackchaser's estate, the shooting followed tension among the group of friends over the prospect of large amounts of money that were coming in and how that money should be distributed. The lawyers for Sackchaser's estate wrote, "When there are less people splitting up the prospective money, the people on the receiving end will get more." April 4th, 2021, Bortland is arrested again for allegedly violating the terms of his house arrest by visiting a strip club, according to court records. August 13th, 2021, Melly releases another album called Just a Matter of Slime, which featured Young Thug, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Future, Kodak Black, T Grizzly, and more. It debuted at number 11 on the Billboard 200 charts on August 28th of 2021, spending 3 weeks on the chart. August 25th, 2021 rolls around. Bortland is re-released on house arrest after a judge finds that he did breach the conditions of his previous bond, but that he did not commit any new crimes, is what the court records show. September 27th of 2021, Complex and Spotify launched a podcast called Infamous, the story of YNW Melly, hosted by rapper Ace Hood. July 6th of 2022, it's reported publicly that YNW Melly is no longer facing the death penalty. The death penalty was taken off the table temporarily for him. July 11th, 2022, prosecutors push once more to seek the death penalty in YNW Melly's case. The original attempt was shot down when, despite a new indictment against Melly, prosecutors failed to file a new notice of intent to seek the death penalty. November 10th of 2022. A Broward County appeal court clears a path for prosecutors to once again seek the death penalty against YNW Melly. The court found that prosecutors were not required to notify repeatedly that they're seeking the death penalty just because a new indictment had been brought against the rapper. On April 19th of 2023, jury selection had begun, overseen by Broward County Circuit Court Judge John J. Murphy III. By this time, the death penalty had been reinstated in the YNW Melly's case and was in full swing, which means if he was found guilty, the possibility is death penalty is on the table. June 12th of 2023, the trial of YNW Melly begins with opening arguments. June 16th of 2023, the first week of YNW Melly's trial comes to a close. The final days of the first week featured extensive testimonies from Felicia Holmes, a registered nurse whose daughter, Mariah Hamilton, is said to have been dating YNW Melly when his two friends were killed in 2018. June 20th of 2023, the judge denies a motion for a mistrial by the defense, who objected to the state's questioning of Felicia Holmes the previous week and claimed that the prosecution had invoked impermissible evidence. The judge had criticized the state's prosecution at the time, but after some consideration, he allowed the trial to go ahead and continue. June 28th of 2023, on day 10, the prosecution presents evidence from a detective sergeant in support of its argument that the victims could not have been killed in a drive-by shooting and were in fact shot dead from within the car. The medical examiner said that Anthony YNW sack chaser Williams was shot multiple times after he was killed by a gunshot wound to the back of his head. Bullet trajectory, crime scene investigation shows exactly what the state was trying to prove. And this is why today a lot of people believe, damn, YNW Melly is super guilty and everything points to him. This is exactly why the state would not grant him bail, because they have a lot of evidence, expert evidence, that shows him being the shooter. Now, July 17th, 2023, over 1 month after the trial had begun, the prosecution rests its case against YNW Melly. The state brought witnesses who discussed and examined footage from the night that Anthony YNW sack chaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. had died. Prosecutors also had witnesses go through a litany of messages that Melly purportedly sent. They were just trying to establish that a cell phone apparently present at the scene of the crime actually belonged to YNW Melly. Now today, I can ask you this. Ballistics, forensics shows, digital forensics shows that that phone was at the scene of the crime. Now, the question to be asked is, how did that phone make its way to YNW Melly? Some people say, well, he dropped it in the car when he got out of the car with Bortland. Well, if he dropped it in the car, please remember that Bortland took the bodies to the hospital. And when you drive into a hospital with a car that's been shot up and there are two bodies in it that are obviously dead, medical experts can tell time of death. Not only that, whatever is found in that car would have been given to law enforcement as evidence, because this clearly is a crime scene. There was no phone. So how did the phone make it back to Melly? Only one of two things. One, Melly left and Bortland split, but Bortland grabbed the phone and brought the phone to Melly. Or two, Melly was carrying the phone with him and he was physically in that area at the time of the murder. Now, over 1 month after the trial had begun, the prosecution then rested its case against YNW Melly, and that was on July 17th of 2023. Witnesses, including people from Melly's personal life, namely Felicia Holmes, the registered nurse whose daughter, Mariah Hamilton, is said to have been dating YNW Melly when his two friends were killed, and Trayvon Glass, a friend and a musical collaborator of YNW members who was at the recording studio with the collective in the hours preceding sack chaser and Juvie's death. The state also examined George Bello, a Broward County Sheriff's Office firearms expert, and the lead detective on the investigation, Mark Moretti. It was Trayvon Glass who later on proved to be that one person who is going to seal the fate of YNW Melly later on when he goes to trial in September of 2025. We will tell you why in a minute. Now, Detective Moretti, who was on the stand for more than a week, is considered the state's star witness, and Melly's defense team sought to discredit his expertise. For example, the defense questioned Moretti's qualifications to discuss topics like cell phone data location. The defense, during cross-examination, also argued that investigators zeroed in on Melly as the primary murder suspect without considering other potential suspects. The state and Moretti pushed back against the defense's claims. The defense also motioned multiple times for a mistrial, but Judge John J. Murphy denied those motions. Of course, a judge is not going to just easily let everybody go in a double murder case. July 18th of 2023, the defense calls its one and only witness, YNW Melly's friend Adrian Green. With the jury not present in the courtroom, Melly informed the judge that he is electing not to testify in his own case. And it was Adrian Green who many people are saying will go to jail or prison for perjury. Adrian Green had set up the scene to have created an alibi for YNW Melly. The prosecution makes closing arguments. It hopes to prove through reconstruction images that YNW Cortland could not have fired the shots because he was driving the car, and the trajectory of the bullets says none of them came from that way that killed YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. It also presents phone tracking data allegedly showing YNW Melly's movements, though the defense has consistently argued that the phone was used communally, meaning anybody could have grabbed it and used it. The defense also makes closing argument before the jury begins its deliberation. July 22nd of 2023. After 3 days of jury deliberation, the apparent deadlock, Judge John J. Murphy III declares a mistrial. These types of decisions, they're hard decisions, the judge said. We were very much appreciate the fact that you gave us the time because we've been here a long time. We understand that. You gave us the time and you did your best effort to bring about resolution, but unfortunately, that wasn't able to happen. See, what had happened was, it was later revealed that they were deadlocked because there was one particular juror who came in and said, I don't care what they tell me, I'm voting for not guilty. It was later also said maybe YNW Melly's mother got to this juror from outside the courtroom and persuaded her somehow through sympathy, through looks, whatever, please save my son. July 25th, 2023, prosecutors indicated that they intend to seek a new trial and the YNW Melly case will go on. New jury selection was expected to begin. August 24th of 2023, YNW Melly's mother's lawyers file a complaint against the lead prosecutor, claiming that Detective Moretti is under investigation for an alleged incident involving the use of excessive force against a potential witness in Melly's case. The detective was also alleged to have executed an unauthorized search warrant to obtain Melly's mother's cell phone. At this point, What was going on here was that YNW Melly's attorneys were doing everything in their power to discredit the lead detective on the case, to throw the case into a tailspin and find some technicality that they could get a possible dismissal to get their client off. You can't blame them. That's what lawyers do. September 22nd of 2023, YNW Melly is denied bond as he awaits a retrial. They thought, hey, mistrial, he's been sitting in since 2019, it's 2023. Send him home and let him fight this case from outside. The judge said, nah, he's too high of a risk. He has the wherewithal and the means to change the course of this case. Therefore, he'll sit right where he's at. October 3rd, 2023, YNW Bortland is arrested again, this time on a warrant that is accusing him of witness tampering. Apparently, when he was released, it was on conditions that certain people he would not reach out to. Apparently, they found that he had reached out to YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend and YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend's mother. October 4th of 2023, the Broward County Sheriff's Office lists new charges of witness tampering against YNW Melly, the same charges that were listed against YNW Bortland. October 12th of 2023, the judge recuses or takes the former lead prosecutor Christine Bradley off the case. YNW Melly's team had requested the removal of Bradley along with the entire Broward County State's Attorney's Office after the Assistant State Attorney Michelle Boutros, who switched sides, something that is rarely seen, to testify that she heard the lead detective Mark Moretti persuaded a deputy to lie that they were present during the contentious search warrant on the phone. Prosecutors claims that the comments were made in jest. On October 18th of 2023, the lead prosecutor, Alexandra Bukalu, who previously prosecuted XXXTentacion's murder, files 7 new charges against YNW Melly as jury selection begins. The new charges include directing the activities of a criminal gang, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, that's the phone, and solicitation and conspiracy to commit tampering. So far, we'll end this video like this. Trayvon Glass had already testified that YNW Melly was not in the car with him. But let's go over what was said, because this is going to come into play in September of 2025 when they go to court. A witness in the YNW Melly double murder trial testified that Melly had changed his clothes at Fredo Bang's house shortly following the murders. Now, the testimony of Trayvon Glass. Glass testified that he had known the victims, YNW Melly, YNW Juvie, YNW Sack Chaser. He'd known all of them collectively, the YNW Collective, for quite some time. On the night of the murders, the foursome had booked some studio time with Glass at the New Era recording studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Glass testified on the stand. Glass said they had booked some studio time with me. However, the session ended prematurely when Melly and Bortland fell asleep in the studio. Now, what I want y'all to see is how the prosecution set this up. Melly and Bortland had planned that murder. Melly and Bortland were the ones that fell asleep in the studio, then woke up and said, man, listen, we tired. Let's just go home and we could do this on another day. This is to get Sack Chaser and Juvie to leave the studio. So with that said, they got up and they all exited the studio. The session ended prematurely. Glass went on to say that everyone left the studio with Melly, Bortland, Juvie, and Sack Chaser getting into the Jeep Compass that would be the scene of the murders. So he stood on stand and said they all got in the same vehicle. But there's videotape to back up what he said, because there was a videotape running at the outside of the studio. Surveillance camera, CCTV footage shows them all getting into the same vehicle, just like Glass said. Upon going home and falling asleep himself, Trayvon Glass also claimed that his phone began blowing up hours later when news of the killing started to spread. People are calling him. They're like, yo, you heard what happened to so-and-so? So he went to the hospital to go see what's up and realized at the hospital that Sack Chaser and Juvie had been deceased. And then he left the hospital and he later went to Fredo Bang's house. He said that when he got to Fredo Bang's house, he saw Melly for the first time since the studio session. Now, mind you, the other friend that the defense called that said Melly switched vehicles and got into the vehicle with Trayvon Glass, that's not going to fly, because Trayvon Glass testified that no, he didn't get in the vehicle with us. Oh yeah, he did. We stopped down the road in the darkness because he wanted to pee, and he got out, he took a piss in the bushes, and then he switched vehicles. Glass was like, nah, he didn't get in my vehicle. And the next time I seen him after we left the studio, when he got in the vehicle with all the other guys from his YNW collective, the other time I seen him was at Fredo Bang's house. And when I saw him, he had on a different set of clothes. You know what's interesting is, where is the clothes that Melly had on that night? That's what they need to ask him. Where is that clothes that he had on that night? Glass said he went to the hospital, then he went to Fredo Bang's house, and boom, there was Melly. Now, they also have records that shows, phone records that shows that Melly was communicating with Fredo Bang around the time of the murder and had asked Fredo Bang to come pick him up. And tower cell site monitoring shows the phone traveling at walking pace in the direction that Melly is heard on the phone telling Fredo Bang that's where he needs to get him from. He wasn't wearing the same clothes, is what Glass told the jury while he sat there in court. He had on some shorts. This, I think, come 2025, is going to seal YNW Melly's fate. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you think he is guilty. Tell me if you think the trial date is too far away. What do you think about this whole case? I'll catch you on the next video. It's hottopixxtv/BrainFLoTv. You already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. I'm out. Peace.